Listen.
I don't care what trick they try, it's not going to work. This is the biggest vote that most members will ever cast. You can't hide from it.
And I didn't hear any of that ferocity when hundreds of times the Republicans used these methods when they were in power.
So, did they use it hundreds of times, or was it for major legislation like this? Is it fair, constitutional? Let's answer those questions with three very smart people. The president and CEO of Independent Women's Voice, Heather Higgins, is here, ladies and gentlemen. New York Post columnist Robert George has also agreed to join us, and Pulitzer Prize-winning author Karen Hunter. Karen, should they be going this far to pass legislation this great?
No, they should not. Ah, surprise, right?
Yeah.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, these people represent us, and they should allow a vote because those votes matter. We elected them to vote. I think it's absolutely an abomination that they're trying to push it through.
And Heather, essentially, and that is a bit of a surprise, but Heather, essentially what they're going to do is say, you know that Senate bill that we can't get the majority of votes for? Well, let's not even ask you to vote for it. Let's just rubber stamp it, give it to the president, and we'll send back a fix-it bill. It's making a lot of people's heads spin.
It is, and Karen is absolutely right. In order for this bill to have legitimacy, it really needs to follow the Constitution and gets passed appropriately. And one of the things that's really interesting, Independent Women's Voice did a study that was released on Monday where we went into 35 congressional districts, which are the swing districts. Some members had voted against the bill in November. 20 of them had voted for the bill in November. And there were a couple of things in there that are really germane to this. First, we deliberately asked people how they felt about legislation that had been passed using reconciliation and other things where you kind of pretend that you're not really voting for the Senate bill. 63% of those people say they should know this is a political promise, it's not real. Right. The other thing is they know that the fixes are not what's the problem. For most of the people who have problems with the legislation, it's not the Cornhusker kickback and the rest of that. It's the mandates, the penalties, it's the vast government control, it's
Robert,
the expense.
you feel the same way?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, Karen, you took the words right out of our mouths. The point here is, and again, it's a president, obviously, who campaigned on these ideas of openness and transparency, and instead we're getting a gimmick. Now, you showed the numbers before. Right. I think 211 to 220. It's very, very possible that you can still going to have a backlash, and they'll vote against the rule. That's happened before. You know, you really insulted me, Robert. You out-Irished me. And I'm Irish. With the green on green on green on green. I'm black Irish.
Yeah, I've heard. So am I, actually. More on that later and what it means.